5S has helped me stay organized in disorganization. It is a minimalistic approach to keeping your workspaces efficient and organized. Even if you're not interested in a minimalistic approach, I guarantee you by the end of this video, you are going to be more organized. Now I must warn you, it's going to be a little bit over the top and crazy. I'm going to nerd out a little bit, but I think I have some useful information that'll help everyone in this video, and we're starting right now. If it was easy to stay organized, the world would be much more organized, but it would be a boring place. Imagine if every leaf fell perfectly in a pile that we could just pick up and put into a bag. If grass grew just high enough so we would never have to mow it. If the sun rose and set consistently all throughout the year, every day, forever, like in Minecraft. Nature is good at being messy, and it keeps us humans busy trying to organize it. But the irony is, we're just as messy, probably because we come from nature herself. The Industrial Revolution changed everything. We became more efficient. We became more organized than ever before, but with it we became so obsessed for that drive for more efficiency, for more organization. How could we put more output of our product while consistently doing less? And that's where Toyota comes in. After World War II, some really smart people got together and made some pretty insane systems to help them and their factories become more efficient than ever before. They created the 5S system: sort, set in order, shine, standardize, and sustain. Of course, there's a much more simple way of looking at this: mise en place. I know for myself it's super easy to get caught up in getting something done. Especially in the kitchen, you're usually cooking because you're hungry. But even outside of that, we are usually hungry with inspiration. In the modern day, we want things done quickly and as perfectly as possible. I was always taught, do it right or don't do it at all, and put things back when you're done with them. But there is one way to proactively and naturally do this, and I want to show you how. So welcome to my cooking workstation. If we really wanted to geek out, I would tell you guys about lean manufacturing and all of these fancy terms and everything. However, I really want to try and help you guys, so I'm not going to go into too much crazy detail. This is my workspace for cooking, and as you guys can see, I've got my spice cabinet open here. We're going to go through that in just a second, but I've got my knives, which we're going to call my tool set. I've got the ingredients that I use most often here with pretty much every single meal that I cook. So to start off with sort, essentially what we would do, this is already 5S, but is we would look at what we have for spices, for baking goods, whatever it might be. So here's a perfect example of some stuff that I might 5S out. And what I mean by that is essentially I would take these items and I would say, I don't really need them. So if you practice minimalism, this should be pretty familiar with you. You kind of look at them and you say, how often would I use this? So I've got mint extract and I've got banana extract here. I will probably never use them in any of my dishes ever again. So what I can decide to do is either throw them away. I might have a friend who bakes a lot who might want them. So what I usually do when I'm trying to organize a workstation is I separate out the things, the tools, the ingredients, the whatever you're using into 5 separate categories. Never used, almost never used, rarely used, almost always used, and used all the time. Okay, so now we've stripped down the station. Basically, we've organized everything out into its finest pieces. We've said what we don't need, and we've thrown it away or put it in a pile of giving it away or whatever. And so now what we're gonna do is we're going to set in order. So I've got onion powder, garlic powder, cumin, chili powder. Like, these are ingredients that I use pretty often, especially when I'm making tacos or something like that. And then up here, I've got stuff that I use a lot less often. So they may be specific seasoning, like poultry seasoning. So essentially what you want to do, if you can't already tell, is you put the things that you use most often closest to you, and then the things you use least often furthest away. So here's my rule set to set in order. If it's never used, get rid of it. If it's almost never used, keep it completely out of the way. If it's rarely used, keep it near but out of the way. If it's almost always used, of course keep it close, but don't have it on your main space. And if it's used all the time, keep it right here. This should be, to you, your sacred space. You want to keep most of it clear for your actual working stuff. And to show you what that looks like, imagine for a second if all of my spices were out on the table. All right, so we've organized our space. We've set everything in order. We figured out where everything needs to go. We're all set. The next thing is we use our space. Now what? So that's where shine comes in. So if I'm cooking and I'm here and I've got, my knife out and I'm doing my cooking, I'm doing my chopping, I have a choice to make. Stay organized and stay clean, or I can sort of just keep going along and, I'm like, okay, well, it's not a big deal. I don't need to be super organized. It's just, I'm making dinner. It's not a big deal. What are you gonna do if you put your ingredients on the table and now you have a minute to put the garlic in, get that browned up, and then add in the hamburgers before the garlic burns? So what Shine says essentially is that mise en place state of being. So what I do is I have these fancy bowls, and sometimes I use medicine cups, chop them, then I put them in the bowl, and then when it comes time to actually throw the stuff in the pan, I'm all organized. I just take a bowl, I dump it in, and you're good to go. Okay, I think this step is the most fun. What we would do, and this is kind of naturally sort of going on here in the spice cabinet at least, is label everything. And not just label everything, label where it goes. So basically what you want to do is each shelf would have their labels, and that way not only if I take the onion powder out, take the garlic powder out, and then whoops, I put the garlic powder here, I put the onion powder here. In manufacturing, that's a big deal. That can cause a quality issue. Okay, so this last step is one that's kind of redundant. It's the easier said than done step though. It's sustained. So basically, keep your workspace the way it should be. This can be interpreted as actually set your workspace to 0 at the end of the day. What that means is have a set way that your station should look. And I think anybody who has a desk can use this step every day in their life. Before you leave your office, before you go to bed, clean your workspace. Why do you need to be this crazy? It may seem like a lot of work at first, and oftentimes it requires you to be critical. And I promise, when you 5S out your favorite screwdriver that you only use once a year, you will inevitably need it tomorrow. But keep this in mind. Being organized makes you faster. It makes you more efficient. It even allows you to brag to your friends that you have the most efficient living space in the entire city.
Yeah, I'm really proud of this. No, it's real. See, it's signed. What do you, no, it's real, okay? It's real!
When I first learned about this, I was surprised by how much it made sense, and I went home and I started 5S'ing a whole bunch of stuff, and it really didn't actually work out. It was a little bit too much, but it really taught me to think critically about things when I get something new in my life. Think about this. Next time you get in your car, knock your shoes off before getting in. It's a simple way of helping to keep out dirt from your carpet. This is Shine. Keeping a toolbox organized can help you always find the tool you need. When you buy a new tool, ask yourself how often you'll use it and store it accordingly. This is Sustain. 5S is a part of my life, mostly because I was brainwashed by a manufacturing company, but also because it's one of the most underutilized systems in everyday life. I have a lot of hobbies I like doing. I want them to be organized. So having workstations that are cleaned and 5S is a huge part of keeping myself organized. All right, so here's a challenge for you guys. I want you to take a hobby you enjoy doing, 5S it, really be critical about it, and see how much better doing that thing can be for you. And let me know in the comments, how did it go for you? Maybe it didn't help you at all, maybe it helped you out a lot. Let me know what you think. But until next time, guys, stay awesome.